You're seeing colours, and now you're seeing a light beam.
Yeah.
And he's got a headdress.
Yeah. I'm not sure if it's male or female, but it's elegant. It's in space. I'm the observer, watching
The observer watching
the light beam and seeing the colours.
And where are you seeing the colours?
The colours are just all around the light beam.
Ah, and they're greens and purples.
Greens and purples and yellows. It's flying somewhere.
Tell me more.
Ah, okay. And now I'm looking at some steps, and I'm seeing pillars, and it's like ancient, like Rome or Greece or somewhere like that, or Babylon. And I'm hearing the word record keeper.
Record keeper.
It's vast. We're talking about halls of healing.
Talking about halls of healing?
Halls of healing.
What does that mean, halls of healing?
Halls of healing. The record keeper. Who's that? I'm just going to walk into the building.
Mm-hmm. Does it feel like you're walking into the halls of healing?
That's where the light's coming from. The healing's coming from the room, and it's pulsing. It's a pulsing light, the healing energy.
Mm-hmm.
And this being is the record keeper, the one that I can see.
That being is coming with you?
Yeah, it's showing me a face that looks statuesque, like that you'd see on a statue of David or something.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's an archangel.
It's an archangel?
It's an archangel, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Does the archangel have a name?
Chamuel. Is it Chamuel?
Mm-hmm.
I'm female. I'm seeing myself now. You've got robes, you've got bracelets. They're gold. I'm preparing a ritual or I've got to get things ready. It's a gathering of souls. I'm calling the energies in. I'm expanding the light around the space. I've had ETs coming in this space.
ETs?
Yeah, they're walking in this space. They look comical.
Sure, what they look like?
They're not tall. Their fingers are circular.
How many fingers do they have?
That's 4.
Mm-hmm. What colour is their skin?
It's a greeny colour.
How do you perceive the texture of it?
That looks smooth, actually.
What about their face? What does their face look like?
Just got sort of a bulb-looking head and then a V-shaped jawline, cheeks. But the way they walk looks funny. They sort of, yeah. And their little fingers with the round bobble ends. They're friendly.
Describe their eyes and mouth. Features of their face.
I've got an eye. It's not a solid eye. It's an eye with an eyelid that it's a membrane. It comes from the sides. Ours is the opposite direction, but theirs is from the sides.
Is it how many eyes?
Yeah, and its eye is it's ours is round, but theirs is it's more like a sheep or a goat.
So like ours, just the other direction?
Yeah, and just a small mouth. A very slight raised nose, not much. It's very flat. They're wise, they're patient. Got robes on.
What colour robes do they have on?
That's blue. The skin's lighter, but the robe's blue, it's darker. they're showing me that it's like it's their case, it's they wear, but they're light beings.
It's their case, so what you're seeing is the case, but they're really light beings.
They're light beings, but this is their case because I'm showing a case. I've assumed a form. I'm being asked if it's to my liking.
They're asking you if it's to their liking?
Yeah, if it's to their liking. And I'm going, yeah, it's friendly. It's friendly.
What happens next?
I'm asking them to tell me about the record keeper. They're telling me that it's it looks like this time and place from an era from this planet, but it's not. It's from another. It's another planet. It's not here. It's a pulsing light. It's healing.
The other planet is a pulsing light?
Yeah, but it looks like a temple that I'm in. A temple of healing. It's a pulsing light, but I'm not seeing other people. It's just me there. Other than that archangel that I came down off the cloud with. Just holding the space for preparing. Preparing it for others to come. So the energy, the lights that are there, they're light beings. That makes sense. It's dimensional. So I can't see people, but they're telling me it's dimensional. So it's a time and place. It's holding a frequency in a time and place. It's interdimensional. They're saying that for a time and place, it can be a 3D presence, but it's holding a time and a space in a different frequency. It's a different vibration, a different dimension, but it's still relevant. You're still sending that energy down through the spectrum of dimensions. So in that role, it was sending healing, holding the space for the healing energies. Okay, so there's different dimensional healing energies that are coming through, and there's light beings. So there's even more light beings in a different dimension to where I'm at in that life, and it's like for want of a better word, a food chain or an energy source chain. It's higher dimensions. I'm holding the space and the dimension I'm in, and then that's been sent down to the dimensions that others are in, that I don't see them, but they're there in another dimension. So where it seems separate, it's not.
Yeah.
So each level has got its level of work.
The different vibrations?
Yes. So then we've got the suit for the beings that have just appeared. So they're from the higher frequency. And that's my work that level. Yeah. So it's all integrated.
So does it feel like you are the record keeper?
Am I the record keeper in that life? No, I don't think I am. I'm holding the space. Others come through. So for me, it's a portal of which people can come and go. So it's a gate, it's an entry point.
So that's your job, is to maintain the portal energy?
Yeah. Because I'm seeing me with putting this white light round, and then the beings are coming through.
So as you become aware of yourself and perceive yourself, describe yourself. How does your body feel?
Sparkly. And a shimmer. My skin is shimmering. But yet I have a female form.
Body feel young or old?
I feel young. My hair's coloured. It's a tawny, it's a sort of a golden brown. My clothes, it's gold. It looks like a fine gossamer. It's light, floaty. And I've got my gold bracelets on. I've got a pendant. Then there's light coming down, and it hits my bracelets, it hits the pendant, and I've got another one here, and it hits, so it's a pyramid shape, and it's helping me to hold the space. The bracelets, it's ornate, and it's like artwork. It's on my arm, but they're not loose like a bracelet that falls up and down. It wraps around. Yep, just holding the space. It's peaceful there. That's it, really. There's not a lot going on. It's just holding the space.
Does anything else stand out for you?
No. No, there's not a lot to do. It's for me, it's an unfurnished space. It's presenting as a building, but it's just all about the light, the energies, and holding the space. And it's that pyramid energy connection. And then I can see the beings coming through, but I know they're on their way somewhere. Yeah, it's a portal. Yeah, they're saying it's a stargate. So they must be the record keepers then. So I'm just showing a book. It's probably not a book, but it's like a book. It's meant to represent the records. So they're on their way through somewhere. That's their job. It's saying intergalactic travel. It's portals and stargates. Everyone's got their roles. Yeah. it.
Wonderful. Just breathing in the energy of the space. Time-space dimensions. And then we'll close the scene. Now move forward to another scene where something of significance is happening. We've now moved forward. Be there now. Describe what is happening.
The mission is over. I'm called home. I get to leave. I get to do something different next time. I'm leaving that dimension, and I'm just
What dimension does it feel like, or can you ask somebody what dimension is it?
What dimension have we got there, guys? They're calling it a parallel universe. They're calling it a stepping stone. A stepping stone from one into another. They're telling me that it's time for me to come away. It's time for me to have more integration. It was quite solitary. And I'm just shooting up. I look like my energy is just like a rocket that's been launched. I'm just heading straight up. I'm out of that dimension, and I've got to go and find out where my next mission is. Oh, I'm in a spaceship. I'm seeing the outer of the spaceship, but I go through the spaceship. There's no door. I just go through the spaceship. It's just bright light. It feels like a hug to be there. I can feel the energies of the others that are in this ship. They're pleased that I'm there, and I can feel that. Feels like a warm welcome. Getting my instructions for my next mission. It's all coming through on a trying to get the word. It's like I can feel and know the information. It's just coming through in a knowing sense. I'm an energy. I'm a light body. I'm not of a form. So it's all in the thought process, in the knowing, in the being. Feel incredibly free. And there's a lot of lights, coloured lights in this space. It's white light, but there's other lights. It feels so good. It's like a healing energy. It just goes through you, and it's like a wave. It's like a pulse. And you see the white in between. Bright white light. They're saying to me that I've got to go into form, to go down into form. A lot of us have agreed to do so. They're talking about the accelerating of the energies and the reintegration of light codes. And they're talking about DNA, talking about coming online. We're talking about us as a group that are bringing light and energy, and it's helping to move people along in their progression. They're talking about species evolution. And we're playing our part in helping. Achieve that which has not been achieved before. All eyes are on this project. Talking about it being a project that brings harmony into the disharmony. We're talking about an accelerated period of growth. We're talking about chaos and upheaval. They're talking about cleansing energies. And I'm being shown it's like all the energies that are arriving to help are sent like, they look like just energies of light. It's just like, what I can liken it to is looking at Halley's Comet with its trail of light and energy. These are the beings that have been sent to the different locations over the planet. And the picture that I'm showing is they're all joining hands all over the planet in an energetic sense, but it's holding a space and a location. It's carefully calculated.
Where these beings of light are located?
Yes. Mm-hmm. They're sent into place, into position. They're holding the space that others around them can recalibrate and move through and on. The energies have been quite stuck and dense.
So where is this that we're talking about? Where's the energies quite stuck and dense?
It's in this time and place. There's so much energy coming through, and each facet that is in place across the planet that arrives at that time and location as it's meant to. It's a trigger point. And each is being recalibrated as time allows and is therefore capable of receiving and anchoring in more energy. They're showing that the souls that have been here longer and the souls that are newer, that are coming, their light burns brighter, hotter, it's clearer. If I was to put a name, it would be to say that it was like an LED light, and I'm looking at the old wattage for the ones that have been here longer.
So like the light is dimmed a bit?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And the light on the newer ones is a shorter space light. The light on the older wattage lights, it's more drawn out.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different shape.
Mm-hmm.
That's shorter, crisper, clearer. And the older ones are longer, a bit more muted. So the newer energies are coming in to help the older energies. They're showing the planet has been a dark planet prior to these lights coming in. They're talking about the cries for help to bring more light in to the dark. They're showing the older lights with staffs and holding the staff on the ground, banging it on the ground. They're trying to get the energy into the ground. They've been trying and trying and trying to get the energy into the ground. And it's become possible when I look at the LED source, younger lights that are coming in. It's helping to ground the energy and get it in. It's a sharper, crisper, shorter. It's got a higher frequency note to it, and it's able to be put into the ground.
And so is it needed that people's bodies are needed to actually be conduits for this energy to actually get it into the ground, or could it not just go into the ground?
They need to be conduits to get it into the ground, and there needs to be the mindset needs to be clear.
Of the individuals?
They can't go into the ground without understanding.
Mm-hmm.
It needs a level of integration. The channel has to be clear for it to be received and to move through and to be grounded into the...
So it doesn't get stuck in the mental body?
in the bodies.
Yeah.
Need to go further than what they've been before.
How are these newer souls, newer lights helping the older ones?
They are immune to what has gone before. They do not have the history associated with the planet. They come in at a level that is above. They are not encumbered with the burdens that others have taken on in their task and time of being here. They are freer. For they have come in their time, and one is like a footstep placed in order of the other. One needed to come in its own time before the other could come.
You mean like the older lights had to be here to pave the path in a way?
Yes,
open it up for the newer ones to come?
The energies would not have been appropriate for the younger energies with a brighter light to come in at a darker time, they would have been hunted down and exterminated. We needed a task force that would come in and that would remain at a lower frequency of light until the time came for their inner light to be ignited, for their ignition. It has taken eons to reach this point. We have tried countless times. This time it has taken where other times it has not.
What's different about this time that's allowed it to be taken?
People are ready. They want more. They're waking, they're standing, they're looking up, whereas they've always looked within a shroud of pain, or they haven't been able to look without, but now they're looking without. It's like this web, like a spider's web has been around them, and they're able to showing a lot of light beings around the planet, off the planet. It's a coordinated effort. It is not one without the other. There are many. I had to wait for the species to get to a certain point before they could. It's not one without the other. The ones on the ground, the ones around the planet. It's a coordinated group effort. And the frequencies have changed. That people do not desire to be ruled. That people desire to make choices freely for themselves. Choices with different outcomes than ones that have played out many other times. And each time in the past these have played out, they have been choices that have taken away. They're speaking of subjects. People want to govern themselves. They do not want to be governed. That's peace and freedom. The bones of the earth grow weary. It's the bones of the earth that sent out the call. The bones of the earth could not hold the space as it was. It's time to move on. It had to be done at ground level. It couldn't be done otherwise.
Is that because of the free will of the people to make the choice to change on that dimension?
Yes, and tipping of the balance.
The tipping of the balance within the collective?
Yeah, within the people.
Within the people's consciousness.
Yes, they needed to choose to move on, to become self-empowered, to become self-realized, to become self-aware. To believe in themselves that they have a voice and that they can choose.
Why did it take them so long?
They did not believe in themselves. They weren't ready for another way. They wanted to be led. They did not listen to the inner of their core, their centre.
They gave their power away to the external.
They followed whoever told them they should follow. Some still do. The balance is being redressed in stages. For it or not all happen at once. It needs to come in stages. It's gradual, it's gentle. A gentle awakening. The rush is to be avoided. Peaceful evolution. If all souls came on at the same time, there would be madness.
If all souls awakened?
There would be madness.
Yeah.
We'd be tipping the scales too far in the opposite direction. It needs to be done at a pace that is gradual. And even though that at times seems chaotic, the balance is being redressed in a more peaceful manner. It can be frustrating for those that it cannot come soon enough for, or clear enough for, but it happens in stages. It's waves. It happens in waves.
Tell me more.
Each wave, it's like a toe that is dipped into an ocean to test the water. Is the water agreeable? If it's too cold, it would be frozen out. The energy of those coming in would not be able to reach. This is why the record keepers come through to observe the energies. Of when the time is right, the energy is right, and when to send through the waves of calibration that come to ignite. key codes. They're raising the vibration.
How do the key codes raise the vibration? What happens?
The key codes are those that are here of a different vibration. They change the vibration and the frequency of those others around them.
So is that within the DNA of the people?
Yes, but also in the environment.
So these key codes are like activated, awakened in the environment, in the DNA?
It's everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's the elements. All of the elements that are here. Everything is living. Everything can be activated. And even those who do not recognize they are activated, they are activated.
And what about the free will? Does people have to be receptive to receiving those key codes and activations?
To a point. Everyone is activated.
Mm-hmm.
But for those who are unable to process, that's when they don't move on. Everyone can be activated, but those who do not process, those who do not spring clean, become hoarders.
Mm.
They stagnate and they clutter.
So by not letting the past go and being willing to open up to new thought and new possibility.
Let go of their old to welcome their new, because their old is a fortress of security to them.
Mm-hmm.
When to others it is undesirable and outdated, like a discarded item of clothing. It needs to be let go of. It's change. Those who do not like change resist. Those who like systems, order, structure, boundaries are safest with which they know. They are fearful of what they do not know, of what they do not understand. And they are to be allowed to choose. They can continue their existence until time of passing. And they are free to choose another existence that matches the state of existence that they resonate at. They are free to move on to other places that offer them the capacity for expression that they are comfortable within. That is the free will to choose a state of being. And for those who are ready to move on, they are free to do so. The heavier energies of those who are being left to remain in a state of being that they are comfortable with will become less with time as this planet becomes or is converted into a light planet. This beat of frequencies within the planet is accelerating and will continue to accelerate until it becomes a light planet.
What does it mean to become a light planet?
It is the releasing of density, of expression, of separateness. It is moving into being, into the expression of one. The density is separateness. It's following. It's not understanding. It's not knowing. It's not feeling. It's just existing. It's stagnating. The light body energy is living, thriving. It's open, it's loving. It's the polarity of uplifted, the joined, the activated. It's source energy. Light without dark. It's lifted. It's shed. It's winter coat. It's become a source of light. The governance of self, the mastership of self, and love and light codes. It's the self-realization. That what is good for one is good for all. Acceptance. It's love. It's peace. It's harmony. It's joy. It's understanding. Energies of new state of existence. It's an experience. As time progresses, those who are of the denser, heavier energies will be unable to remain in a space. They will expire and progress and move on to other states of being that is conducive for their own growth, for their own rate of growth that they are comfortable with.
So is it known that eventually they will choose to uplift their own frequency? It's just at a slower rate.
Yes, it is the way.
Mm-hmm.
It is the law.
Mm-hmm.
It's universal law. Free will to choose the state of being.
And will they have their own earth that they will perceive living on to live out their expression?
They can choose any frequency, any time and place that is in its own evolution that matches the rate of frequency do they resonate on?
So I'm curious, the ones who uplift their frequency and the ones who don't, could they coexist in the same planet and just not be aware of each other, just like multidimensional beings at different frequencies?
Yes.
As Dolores talked about the two earth split, and many people talk about many earths, is that another way of giving our linear perception a way to understand this idea of many existences simultaneously, or in parallel universes, parallel earths at different frequencies, coexisting?
There are some who will want to remain in the same space. There are others that will want to move on and self-realize in another space entirely.
And when you say another space, another planet or
Yes.
galaxy or universe?
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
there are many.
Different to the earth, or like?
There are many.
Yeah.
It is vast. Each level, each individual that is self-realized, there are many stages along the way, and each individual that is self-realized, when it attains a level, has greater options.
So it expands.
Can move on into other galaxies.
Mm-hmm.
For those that are here, the choice will become, for those who will not grow, they will take a backward step. They will have less options. For those who continue to grow, they will have more options available to them. So there becomes a split. So for those who are fearful, their energy becomes smaller, tighter, less. It's the polarities will be breaking apart to move on. So whereas one will continue to grow, one will continue to diminish. But there is always room for expansion, for the growth, for self-realization that can come in its own time.
Mm-hmm.
Opportunities will always be offered for self-realization. Activation is always possible. And each soul has their own timeline, rate of growth. There is none that is right or wrong. Each has its own plan.
And what about those people who are uplifting their frequency and have family members or other people around them, partners, that are choosing not to uplift their frequency? How do they orientate?
Each is free to choose. Each is living their own free will. Peace comes from the acceptance of understanding and allowing for each to be in their own space while simultaneously coexisting within those same places and spaces. Some are slower to ignite. Some sit on the fence. And wonder, could this be? Some are not ready for changes. Neither are they closed, and neither are they open.
They're just not ready.
This is the case. They need to be seeing, not feeling. They need to see. They do not have the courage to take the leap of faith that many others take by listening to what is resonating from deep within their inner being.
So in essence, they're not really trusting their inner being.
They do not have a self-awareness or self-belief of self-awareness.
So they're looking to be more led.
Yes.
Through having to see the demonstration.
They want it to go away. They just want to be. They want the rules to be as the rules are. They do not wish for the rules to be as they can become. Their eyes are averted. They do not wish to see.
So they feel safer within the rules and the constrictions.
They are not ready.
And that's okay.
It's not their time now.
Yeah.
And there is peace for them in this not being their time. But the frequencies of energies that they are surrounded with at this time is with them and will be carried forward with them because they are neutral. They are not resistant. They are just not ready. Those who are resistant and completely closed, the energy is not accessible to them. They do not take it with them. Those who are neutral, they have the light codes with them. Just by being here, that has helped the evolution of their journey, even though they have not fully activated at this time. They are still assimilating the energies. Not all souls are here to be fully activated. Partial activation will still be noted as a success. Each soul has a level of attainment. And it is enough. There's peace in that. So there's actually 3 states of being. It's closed, neutral, and activated.
And as you scan the planet now from that broader perspective, how does it look?
There is some dark patches. There is a band of light that burns like a match that is lit onto paper, and you see the line and the flame, the line of light, the gold light that is moving the black back, the darkness back, and this colours of blues and greens coming through. Just hope. Some parts of the planet are more in colour than other parts of the planet. And many would be surprised to know or to see where the shade of dark resides, for it is not what people think.
Where is that? Where is the shade of dark residing that people would not or would be surprised to hear about?
There's not one in Russia. It's not Russia. It's America. There's China. There's many strings. There's many strings that come out from China. There's many hands are tied from China. That's not Russia.
Russia looks more light. So that would be one of the surprises.
This is the surprise.
Mm-hmm.
This is what would be known as the cat amongst the pigeons. But it is not. It is obvious.
What's obvious?
I keep seeing strands coming out of China.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got America here on one side. I've got a lot of lines coming out. China's got the lines coming out at the top. They're obvious. America's got a lot of lines coming out underneath. They're hidden.
So you mean these darker influences?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And they're affecting different countries and different places on the planet?
I'm seeing a big pot and a big stick stirring. It's a big cauldron now. It's just the sign of greed. It's like an old man going hee 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 and running.
Machine.
They are deflecting. They are deflecting. They are holding up mirrors. They are deflecting out. It is this person, it is this person, it is this nation, it is that nation. They are deflecting out. Just smoke and daggers.
So you mean they're through the media, they're taking people's attention to all these other countries?
This is America.
Yeah. Yeah, so they're deflecting over to these other countries with the light.
They are.
Yeah.
And it has been that China has been created to be the powerhouse because it has fallen into line. It has bided its time. It has played its cards carefully to grow. And it has a taste. It has had the crumbs from the master's table, and it wishes to have more.
happening now?
Parts of, I'm looking at Britain, it is not clear. It's got some darkness. I feel it's going to get free. It's going to get free. It's going to have a shake-up. It's going to get free.
What about Europe?
Yeah. The energies, as I look at the energies of Europe, I just see an implode, but not catastrophic. An implode, but then it gets lighter, but it's not dark. But I look at UK and I can feel some dark ties. It's like a purge or something to happen here. It's lighter. It's like, because we've got Russia there, I don't see the level of darkness that there was, but I do see the darkness in China, and I can see the undercurrents from America, and Britain's got dirty hands. And I'm looking at the Middle East. I feel that they're neutral. They're just staying out of it. It's going to get lighter there. The return of the feminine, I think that surprises. The women are becoming empowered. Beautiful, beautiful energy. It's coming back online. But their state of separateness is root for them because they're not materialistic, as in China, as in America, and as in the UK. Just as I see the planet, I just see the fire of the lit match just going over the darkness. And it's just getting less. But I believe it'll get to a point and there will be a tussle because they will not be able to not. And I see other countries going, no, you cannot come here, you cannot do this. They will stand against them. But they will need to have power behind them to do so. But just to hold this space.
You mean to stand up against
Yes.
Chinese or American influence?
Yes, to say no, this is not our monkeys, not our circus, it's not our drama, it's yours. We are not buying into this. Then they will turn on each other because each will want to be the boss.
China, America.
And Britain will have a choice to either wash their hands or to join.
then what about the light? Let's move on to the light on the planet. And let's bring it over to Australia. How's Australia looking?
It's far enough away. I don't have a conflict of interest. They have enough going on in their own backyard. They have got their own crisis coming. Yeah. Heads will roll. This is Australia. Heads will roll.
What do you mean by that?
They're going to have a declutter. They've got inauthenticity.
Inauthenticity.
It's raining the day. Their heads will roll.
They need to get more honest. True.
People are over not being listened to and being heard. They're growing weary of being on the treadmill.
It's not their treadmill, is it?
They're not getting ahead. They're not happy. And there's never enough. And it's all the lies.
Is that the younger people, the younger generations?
They are motivated. The older ones will still be on their treadmills. They want to be led. The younger ones want changes. They want new opportunities for growth. They want to move in a new direction, and the older ones do not. So heads will roll. There'll be more that'll be pulled to account. New opportunities for growth. There's some upheavals to come for Australia.
And then bring it over to New Zealand. How's New Zealand looking?
Strong.
Strong in the light?
Strong in the light, in the love. Australia has not had its recalibration. New Zealand has had its recalibration. Australia has not had its recalibration. They are still mired. They are still mired.
And how is it that New Zealand has had its calibration? What's allowed New Zealand to have been able to...
The upheavals, the energetic vibration has been coming through for some time. Also, there are many spaces that are still of pure energy, of untapped source energy.
And is that both islands?
It has not had the level of despair that other locations have had. It does not have the dense history radiating through to the core that other places have had. It's clear. It has reached a point. It's reached a caliber, a level, where others will want to keep moving it forward. A momentum for good, for love, for hope, for peace, for clarity, for understanding. It's more aligned into island way of thinking. With all the islands, the Pacific Islands, New Zealand, Australia is aligned to other areas. So the upheaval is yet to happen. It hasn't had its foundation shaken to the level that it needs for it to cathartically clear and move on, whereas New Zealand has.
Is that through the earthquakes and
Yes.
even the shooting as a way
Yes.
of clearing out the
Yes.
density?
It is. It has changed the vibration. And it was meant to happen in Christchurch. What's just happened?
Why was it aligned with Christchurch? What was
the earthquakes have opened up new energies and new portals. It's got new growth, new undercurrents. So it is the right energy. If it had happened in a different centre in New Zealand, it would have had less, the energy would have been different. It would have carried a different message. This is an area of new growth. So it is in its spring. It could cope in terms of a season. If you had taken it to another area like Auckland, you would have had a different energy. The people have had to pull together. They know love, they know endurance. They know how to pick up the pieces to move on. They have experienced loss. They understand the process. They understand what is important. Not a building. It's people. Love.
Your prayers and your declarations of the heart delivered you right to the door, to the threshold of this divine connection. In ecstasy you chanted, "Love of my life." Softly we replied, "Life of my love," and took you by surprise into the effulgence of this union, and we wept in joy together. There are no words required beyond that. Words cannot touch this level of connectedness. They can only attempt to put structure to the unfathomable. Regardless of how eloquently you attempt to dress the experience, it remains perfection, absolutely unadorned by concept at all. We are entwined in the experience of it. While in that state of bonded union, there is no way to say where one begins and the other ends. For only oneness pervades the linear perception. Heart and mind are swept into a totality of beingness that makes such considerations irrelevant. There is no aspect of self separate from that totality that would require analysis of who and what we are. All is within the embrace of the whole of this love, and knows itself to be that. Let it not be said that oneness dwells in a void, numb and feelingless. Let it not be said that oneness is simply awareness to the exclusion of all else. For to make such a presumption would be to limit the limitless. Oneness is all that is, which by definition includes all that you are. Oneness is the full spectrum of possibility. No more the aspect of self that is pure awareness than the one who perceives. Oneness cannot be one aspect of that very beingness to the exclusion of another, when oneness is all of it. You are not simply an illusory image distilled into the semblance of form within the context of the illusion of time and space. That may be how it appears to the metaphysician who delights in dissecting the divine. Yet that is a far cry from what you are. You are no less oneness than is oneness. You, as a pure reflection of a vibrational encodement, exist. And you do so fully and completely within the embrace of the imperceptible isness. Surely not outside, or other than, or apart from that totality. Without the underlying foundation of the formless self, the experience of self-realization within the context of form would not be possible. Who is it who could be said to have realized the self, if you were truly non-existent? The aspect of oneness, abiding in a state of eternal isness, has absolutely no stake in self-realization or any other conceptual expression of our beingness. It is none other than divine essence, expressed within the context of form, which is capable of that perception. For all that is divine is real, just as you are.